All right, Nancy, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for joining. Again, first of all, thank you for joining us here today. We really appreciate you giving us your time for this important discussion. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your background?
Yes. Well, my name is Nancy, and I am actually from McAllen, Texas. McAllen is actually located in the southern border of Texas, which is about a few miles away from the border with Reynosa, Mexico. And I got my education from the Valley, Rio Grande Valley. So I started off with getting my associate's degree from South Texas College. Then I went ahead and went to the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, where I got my bachelor's degree in rehabilitation services. Then I got my master's degree in social work at Our Lady of the Lake University of San Antonio. Then I got licensed to the state of Texas to do a licensed master social work, and now I'm here as a doctoral student in social work at UT Arlington.
Awesome. Yeah, and I see you got a Mexico jersey.
Yes,
Yeah, who's your favorite player?
Santiago Jimenez.
Santiago Jimenez?
Yes, he's one of the new youngest players that's been playing recently with Mexico.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so he's one of the newest ones. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you been to has visto un juego vivo or no?
Yes, fui a un juego en el 2019
Okay.
con mi hermana allá en San Antonio in Alamo Dome against Argentina, but
Oh,
they lost pretty badly, 4-0. I remember.
con la Argentina, yeah, con Messi, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for those of you that are unaware, Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th and ends on October 15th every year. Nancy, what does this month mean to you as a social worker and as a Latina?
Well, it means to me celebrating the contributions of individuals, Hispanic individuals that have made the contributions here in the country, and also celebrating our culturas, where we're coming from, embracing who we are. So that's what it means to me, when it comes to Hispanic Heritage Month.
Awesome. What does it mean to be Latina to you?
It's an undescribable feeling, to be honest. Um, what I can tell you though is at the minute I was born, I am grateful to God that he made me a Latina.
Hmm.
That's all I can tell you.
And specifically Mexicana.
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 And actually, I hold a dual citizenship.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, my I was born here in McAllen, Texas, but my mom decided to give me a Mexico citizenship because, well, they are Mexicans.
Hmm.
So I have also Mexican citizenship.
See, I need to talk to my mom because so I'm Colombiano y
Hmm.
Guatemalteco. My
Hmm.
mother's Guatemalan, my father's Colombian.
Yeah.
And I went to Guatemala for the first time a couple years ago, and it was a little cultural shock that I wasn't looked at as a peer to them because I'm not a citizen.
Mhm.
But yeah, getting citizenship in those countries is definitely something on my list. So I envy you for having dual citizenship. That's pretty cool. Nancy, how important is identity to you?
Um, it's important, because it just makes you who you are. You display to the world who you are. In this case, I mean, being a Latina, you're
Mm.
just embracing, who you are, where you're coming from, in showing your cultural traditions. So that's what, for me, that's what I consider identity. Who you are as a person.
Yeah, you mentioned cultural traditions. What does culture itself mean to you?
For sure, the gastronomy, the food.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the traditions, the important dates that we celebrate in Mexico, important things that my parents, they hold as values and everything. So that's what I consider. Mhm.
Awesome. I know you mentioned you spent a lot of your time in Texas for school for your advanced education.
Mhm.
How did you first get involved with social work?
Oh, that was a very interesting one. Um, when I started my degree in rehabilitation services at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, my sister kept telling me, you should do social work because she is the administrative assistant through one of the U.S. renal care companies for the dialysis for dialysis.
Mhm.
And dialysis hires social workers, and she kept telling me you should do social work so you could work in dialysis.
Hmm.
But I never listened to her. I was being very stubborn, as always.
You're the younger sister or older sister?
I'm the youngest sister,
Okay, of course.
so
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
there's a 15-year gap between her and I. So whatever she tells me, I do the opposite.
As most siblings do. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I never listened to her, but I'm still grateful though that I was able to do my degree in rehabilitation services simply because I got more knowledge on people with disabilities
Hmm.
and on mental health and substance use. Um, but once I got into the master's in clinical rehabilitation counseling at UT Rio Grande Valley, that was back in 2017, and so I did 1 year, and it was around September that the one day when I woke up, from sleeping,
Mhm.
I woke up and I said I want to be a social worker.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Just something within you just overcame and, "Hey, I wanna do this. I wanna pursue this."
Yeah, I I want to pursue this. I want to be a social worker. So I started to, trying to investigate what schools, UTRGV, Our Lady of the Lake University. I started going all over the place with different universities online, and so yeah.
Interesting, and, like, you didn't have a dream, there wasn't nothing that in aside from your sister, nothing really inspired you, it was just something within to just
It's just something within.
that's pretty cool,
Mhm,
most people get their inspiration from siblings, role models,
mhm,
virtual role models, or even in with personal experiences, like with, health issues and things of that nature, so,
mhm,
yeah, that's pretty cool. I wanna think to myself, I think one day I woke up and said well, I was inspired about other things, but yeah, with my career with like videography and production,
mhm.
it's one of those things where it just feels like you're supposed to be in this space, right? Is that similar to what you were feeling? Like it just feels like it's a perfect fit. Like this is what you're supposed to do.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. Next question for you, Nancy. What is it like for you learning English as a second language as you were progressing through your education? I know you said that you grew up in a Mexican traditional household, so I'm assuming Espanol was your first language and aprendiendo inglés
Mhm.
para la escuela. How was that for you?
It was tough. From my first years in elementary school, my all my core subjects were done in Spanish.
Hmm.
All my state exams, the tax tests, were done in Spanish.
I remember the tax test.
Yes, the tax tests. Yeah. So they were all done in Spanish, and every year I would get tested. It was called the TELPAS to see if I was competent enough to go into full English classes.
Hmm.
But I don't understand why would they do that, because I was always in Spanish speaking classes.
Hmm.
But they call it bilingual. But I was doing always Spanish.
Spanish
We
work.
will always speak Spanish.
Mm.
So that was from pre-K or kinder to fifth grade. Until sixth grade, I was fully immersed into all English speaking classes. All my core subjects were English, and I took the TOPAS test, and I was competent enough to get fully immersed into English. But what helped me out was listening to rock bands like Green Day, My Chemical Romance, 30 Seconds to Mars, Simple Plan, Blink 182, all these English speaking rock bands. They
Mm.
they helped me out to better off my English a little bit. So, and I still a little bit struggle sometimes with my English, but I'm not ashamed of it. Back then I was kind of self conscious,
Mm.
and even in eighth grade, while we were reviewing for the tax test for U.S. history, it was my turn to read out loud, and the teacher kind of laughed at me.
Oh man.
Yeah, and because I kind of struggled to read something, and she kind of like smirked.
Was it the pronunciation or was it more of the accent, or did you just not know how to read certain words in English?
I just did not know how to read certain words.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's where my self-conscious in reading in English began, and it ran through high school. I just hated doing presentations in English. I would get all this anxiety and everything. Even in college,
Mm.
um, you know, even up to now, but I'm here with you
You're here and you're speaking very well.
and I'm speaking.
Yeah,
So,
and you're speaking very well, and you still have your accent, but I think that's one of the things that you bring value to. Like you have this background,
mhm,
you've had these obstacles and learning and going through certain things like teachers and students laughing at you, but
mhm,
for you to get those reps in and get to where you are now, I think says a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned Green Day. I just want to ask really quick, what's your favorite Green Day song?
I would say Jesus of Suburbia. It was
Okay.
one of my first few songs that I listened to when I was in 6th grade.
All right.
I know.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
Nancy. Nancy, you mentioned some of your research interests, such as health disparities in the Latino populations.
Uh-huh.
How I wanted to ask, how important is overall health to you, both physical and mental?
It's important. I mean, because you need your health to survive, both physically and mentally, to move on forward with your daily life and everything. So, um, having knowing that there's healthcare disparities among the Latino population is a concern.
Mm.
Um, and this is what I noticed. Both professionally and personally living in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, I know. For my mother, she just got a thyroid surgery. She had thyroid cancer a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and that was a whole process within itself. But then, you know, uh, I think it's interesting. Teach you how to. People don't really teach you how to go through life as your parents get older, and I
Mhm.
think that's one of the things. It just kind of comes when it comes. But yeah, like anything with health and like especially those personal experiences, I think make a huge impact in people wanting to pursue fields with health, higher education, maybe even politics.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask specifically, Nancy, what are you wanting your research to change exactly?
To increase access and healthcare resources, I also want to do work in policy, making sure the right distribution of healthcare resources are distributed to the right people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. So that's part of it. I want to do social work research and healthcare disparities amongst Latino population, work in policy and social work education as well. So that's what I want to do. Hmm.
Okay. Uh, that's just a filler question for me. I know on my end, as a Latino growing up in a traditional household,
Hmm.
la comida, there's no such thing as a diet.
Hmm.
Uh, we got comida frita, los frijoles, plátanos, bandeja paisa. I'm Colombian, so we,
Sí.
eat a bandeja paisa, which is carne, huevos, frijoles, aguacate, lo demás, just everything.
Sí.
Tying back to the culture aspect, how can we promote health and healthier habits in these traditional households with our food and how to respond to certain health concerns? Uh, Case in point, I no longer eat pork. And I've told my father, and I've shared with my father a little bit about the concerns that come with eating pork and how it affects your body. But he says it just tastes so good. They're used to eating, chicharron and everything. So, yeah, how can we promote health and healthier habits with our food and our way to respond to certain health issues?
I think it all starts with health literacy.
Okay,
Promoting in preventative care. Having the people know, hey, this is what's good, this is what's not good. But it all starts with health literacy. Having them to know, hey, you need to learn how to eat better. I know it's kind of hard.
very, very
I know.
hard.
And because of tacos, chiles rellenos, I just
Me
came
estás
back.
dando hambre ahorita, yeah. Making me hungry.
I just came back from McAllen this weekend actually, and my mom made me chiles rellenos. Sorry. I ran a little bit tangent.
Yeah. No me trajiste nada? You didn't bring me nothing?
Sorry.
Oh man, maybe next time.
Yeah. Anyway, so health literacy is important, and that's probably one of the problems. That people don't know how to read correctly on what to know, what to eat exactly, and yeah. So that's what I can think of.
How do we start with health literacy? Like, where does that come from? What does that look like? Because me again with the traditional aspect, from the culture traditional aspect, parents don't really take a lot of advice from their children. So how do we get over that barrier of you know giving them that information and sharing the insights that now we've learned through education here in America?
I guess, just, letting them know, putting the words up to their level. Hey, this is what we have been learning. This is what you need to do, so you can have a better health. You can live longer life. So that's probably what I can think of. It's just getting to up to their level, because if we say sophisticated words, they're not gonna understand.
No, they're not.
Okay, so it's better off, if to get up to their level of understanding. It's very important.
And being able to, I guess, explain as simply as possible the
Yes,
matter at hand.
yes,
Okay.
yes, most definitely. It's very important.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, Moving on. Research shows that there is a great need for more social workers with Hispanic and Latino backgrounds, especially with those that speak Spanish fluently. What advice would you give to Hispanic or Latino individuals considering social work, or for those not even aware of all the things you can do with the social work degree?
I would suggest to come into social work. There's a lot of opportunities out there. It is a wonderful profession, and it's very rewarding. Um, and if I was able to do it, y'all can do it as well. So, yeah, we need more bilingual social workers too, most definitely.
Yeah, and I know in your case it's kind of special. How do you feel about yourself being represented as a pioneer for both a Latina pursuing a PhD and a Latina in social work, kind of bridging those two spaces together?
It's an honor that I'm in the PhD program. I still think it's kind of surreal that I'm in the program, but I'm here for a reason, and I know that I want to make a change, especially for for my community. In need for for better resources. Yeah, so I still kind of I still want to believe it that I'm like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
superstar in actuality. Yeah, again, just because there's not enough, at least on my end, exposure to that type of representation. A Latina in pursuing a PhD
Hmm.
and in social work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. You're like a real life superhero. And I wanted to ask you, Nancy, what are your plans after you obtain your PhD?
I want to be, continue doing research, social work research, working in policy for sure, and be a professor. But I would also like probably go back to the Rio Grande Valley, um, just to give back to my community. That's one of my plans.
Would you like to open up your own, maybe private practice, your own clinic or something down there in that area?
It depends. I still don't know about that.
Okay. What does it depend on, if you don't mind me asking?
I still haven't really thought about it. What I can do over there, in the Rio Grande Valley. So
Mm.
that's still on my mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
work on progress.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy, do you or would you like to have any final comments to share with our listeners out there?
Yes. Um. So, like I said, if I was able to do it, y'all can do it. I know that life will bring you challenges, and you will more than likely will fall, but you will rise up like a tortilla
Hmm.
and move forward.
All right. Can we I guess for our Spanish listeners out there, Nancy, I ¿Quieres decir algo para la gente que están escuchando ahorita?
Sí. Am, pues, les mando un saludo a toda mi familia, a toda la gente del Río Grande Valley, a mis papás, a mis hermanas, a mis primos, a mis tías, que los quiero mucho, y pues, y los extraño mucho.
Qué bien. Well, Nancy, it has been great to be able to speak with you again. Thank you for joining me today, along with our awesome communications team in the background, making all of this possible. And for those watching our show,
Ujú.
if you want to learn more about School of Social Work and what social workers do, please go to our website and follow us on our social media pages. And please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on those post notifications for future content down the road. As always, everyone, please be safe, drink your water, and remember, we're all in this together. Until next time, my name is Douglas Gutierrez, signing off. Saludos and bendiciones.